Welcome back to the channel, and it's going to be more Clark to help bring in the new year. Good morning. Not sure. I think it's the 28th today. Yeah, I think it's the 28th of December 2022. Back on the Clark, literally. Been doing a little walking around there this morning, and I decided, well, I ain't doing too darn much else for the next day or two before after New Year's, so might as well continue fixing what we can on this here old Clark. And we've come across numerous things that we can fix on. You know, there's the brakes don't work. I discovered there is original fuel tank in the frame of the inside the frame of the Clark, which has been disconnected. They got a sideboard tank there. That's an aftermarket thing. That's what I thought it was anyway. And so on and so forth. So we'll just take a little walk around and identify some of the things that we're gonna do. Okay, I did a recording of what we did with this master cylinder there yesterday, but when I went to upload it, it was a corrupted file somehow or another. So we're on the what do you call it, Panasonic video recorder. Just going to try a different recorder. Having trouble with some of the files on my iPhone going across the editor program. But anyway, this is a Wagner Lougheed. We pulled it off that Clark forklift. It's just a one chamber master cylinder, totally seized up inside here. It's only held on by 2 bolts, so this goes for several pieces of equipment. Just got one line coming out the back going to the 2 front drive wheels. And oh, I guess we got the little poppet plunger inside there. Got it all cleaned up. Got a seal kit or a master cylinder kit ordered. I had to pound the because it was so rusty. I had to heat it up 2 or 3 times, throw it in snowbank, break the rust, punched it out with this here piece of key stock, went right through, push it right out. So that was all right. Eventually come out, and of course we did mangle the spring and little mechanism in there, so it's garbage, but that comes with a new seal kit. The boot here seemed to be in really good condition, but it comes brand new with a seal kit. And there we go, we're waiting on parts. So from here we're just going to move back outside and see what we can do outside. Now that we've got the master cylinder taken care of, we'll just wait on some parts. We got another project here. I was mentioning that the hood doesn't line up with the radiator, and we'll investigate, see what we can do with that. First off, we got a problem with the fan. I think you can see that it's in a position where it would take counterclockwise, like from, it depends on which end you're standing at. From the radiator end, it would take counterclockwise rotation, but it's, I'll just hit the little starter for a second. You'll see that it's going in the wrong direction. I'm pretty sure I can unbolt it and turn it around so it'll be turning this way, and then these will be actually blowing. That's the way this fan is supposed to, is just blowing through this way. So there is 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I think there's 4 bolts in there, and I believe it's supposed to be turned around and sitting on there. And it rides over here. So I don't know if this here radiator is original. But the next problem is the radiator doesn't line up with the hole on the hood, makes the hood want to ride over here like an inch or so back. But I think it's because of these mounts here off the radiator mount are supposed to be on this side of the bracket. Of course, these are all fabric cobbled on there. They're not original. So I think the radiator is actually pointing this way, but it's actually, this bracket's supposed to be on this side. Pushes this forward another half an inch or whatever. And then so it'll line up with the hole in the hood, and then the hood will line up on the machine. So that's our next project. We're going to see if we can get in there and take the fan off, because we got to raise up the radiator and move it over and then put it back down. Hopefully I can do that without, well, I'll have to drain it and release these hoses here. The one on the other side is a flexible hose. It's got lots of leeway, so that's what I'm going to do. See if I can remove that fan, put the radiator on this side of the bracket, put it all back together, and then hopefully we'll have the fan going the right way, because this is pulling backwards on the way the fan is designed, and it's more than likely ends up in a failure. Not that there's a lot of hours put on this machine, but anyway, that's our next project. Okay, it's the next morning, and it's still early in the morning, so the sun's up, but it's kind of cloudy, so it's a little dark out here. But anyway, we got done with what we wanted to do here with this radiator and fan. You'll notice from yesterday, this fan has actually been flipped around, so it's cutting. The blades are in the proper orientation. The motor is going to be turning this way, or like I said, standing in front of the radiator, it's turning clockwise, but the fan was put on backwards, so it was intended for the motor to turn counterclockwise, which would make it a draw fan, but that's not how this is working. It's a push fan. It pushes out that way, and the blades are properly oriented. And I'll just reach around on the starter. You'll see that it's turning the right way. So that's good. It was just a matter of 4 bolts. Turn the fan around, put it back in place. After that, we'll see if we can draw in here. Had to drain the radiator couple or a gallon out. There's a little drain cock right there, and of course when you open it, it's plugged full of rust and crud there over many decades of sitting there. It's nice green antifreeze, so it's fresh antifreeze, but it's still got the block has blockages in it, so I had to remove the whole thing, poke a screwdriver in there. The antifreeze drained out to lower the level past this here connection here. So that it was down here. I just loosened the clamp off. Then I undid the 4 mounting brackets, bolts. 2 on this side, 2 on the other side. Lifted up the radiator. Drew it in on this side of the bracket, put it back down, bolted all back into place, tightened up my hose and put the antifreeze back in. And then from there, we'll just put our hood back on. Take off. Now it's in the proper place. These spring-loaded catch, hood catches line right up, and the radiator cap goes in place like it's designed in the factory. Before they had it all, I don't know what went on there, but it was mounted in there a little bit wrong. They even torched out the radiator, like the hole in the hood, torched it out, so, and it still didn't fit. So anyway, that's what happened. But now it's quite an improvement on just the basic look of it. Up there on the top of the canopy, there's a rusty old bent piece of sheet metal, and it's been put in place up there, I guess, to keep the sun or the weather out of the operator. But forklifts traditionally have a open roof line, and it has a cage above it to stop anything dropping on the operator, but still allows a line of sight. Right now with that solid sheet of metal up there, no line of sight. So I'm going to take the disc grinder and remove that thing. I see it's only held on by about 200 short little tacks. I'm lucky it's just not a continuous bead all the way around, all 100% of it. But anyway, we're going to zip her off and come back, and then you'll notice up there there's a light fixture in the corner front of the canopy. It's all bent up. I'm going to pull that down, straighten it. It'll probably break right off of there, which is all right. I'll just remove that light for now. But anyway, we'll get that done and get right back to you. Well, it's December 30th now, late in the afternoon, and we're just going to do a quick progress report on the old Clark. We've been doing a couple odds and ends with it. Start with there, I've got both of those upper lights cut off of each corner of the canopy. Can't see it from here, but the other side is off as well. That ugly piece of sheet metal that was on the roof here, I got that cut off, and I was right there. There's like 100 tacks both inside and outside of the canopy bars up there. So it took a little, 2 or 3 zip discs. We got her off. There's the metal that was up there. Pretty ugly piece of sheet metal, but I don't know if we can use it for anything else. Pretty bent up. It's pretty much scrap, I guess. Anyway, on this side, get along with our hood again. Got both of these here spring-loaded clips to hold the hood on. They work really good. This area there is true to center again. It can put the cap on properly. I have removed the exhaust pipe, which is laying right here just on the fender. I've got some elbows ordered out of Napa in town here. But being the holiday coming up to New Year's, not going to get it till after New Year's. No big deal. We can get that on there. Working at the electrical system, it does have an alternator in there that's mounted in there, but it wasn't working, and I had just one that was knocking around, and I don't think it's working either. So right now it's probably going to repair one or the other, or get an exchange unit, just get a new alternator. I did over here at the dash put a new gauge. I never put an amp gauge. I put a voltmeter in there, a volt gauge, and with a light, and it does work. It turns on, but it only shows 12 volts, and when I'm running the machine there, it's still 12 volts or 12.5 volts, so it's not really charging. It should show 13 or 14 volts. So that's part of what we got to work on. In the front here, on either side of the bar that holds the forks, they had a grab hook welded on to hold a chain. I thought originally it was to support the Stinger, but that's not what it was for. It was for other purposes. And whatever they were doing, I don't know if you can see the totality of the bend in there, but this end is bent forward and so is the other end bent forward, so they are really over pressurizing this thing, whoever had it before. So I took them hooks off. That won't happen again. And down here on the fenders, there's not much left of the light assembly, but I'm just going to cut the whatever's left off there, and the ones that I removed from the top of the canopy I'm going to put on there. I'll have to get a switch for the dash there to turn on and off lights. Well, maybe. Who knows? Hopefully I'm not working this thing in darkness. And then it does run, albeit it's a little on the rough side, but it should start up pretty easy. There's the pump. Pretty loud. I don't have a muffler, it's just a straight pipe coming off the manifold. And it still has a miss on that one cylinder, and I was talking to the guy that I bought it from, and it does have a sticky valve. So if I really feel like it, I'll have to pull the manifolds right off to get that side plate off and work at the valves, trying to work them back and forth with some drivers and whatnot, and maybe even have to take the head off to do that, but I really don't want to get that deep into it. Later on, I did a little investigating about the gas tank. The original gas tank is inside the frame, and there is no way to get the gas tank out of there unless I jack the machine up and cut the crossbars out from underneath to pull the tank out, which if I get a lot of spare time, which looks like I might have a few days, so I might just do that. This here side tank here, aftermarket tank, is just some miscellaneous tank. It's a hydraulic gasoline combination tank, just sitting on the running board. I just don't like the look of it, so I think I will take it off and fix up the gas tank that's deep underneath that area there. So anyway, it's coming along. It's going to be able to do the work that I need to get done. Oh yeah, in the front, dual wheels. I think I got one flat for sure or whatever, but we'll fix them up. And then for snowy weather, I do have tire chains from the trucking days, and I'll just modify a set to fit over these drive wheels so we can get around in the snow. Other than that, she's pretty much a wrap for the day, and well, one more day of 2022 and we'll bring in the new year. So, Happy New Year, everybody. We'll catch up to you later.